Enough do-gooding. It's time for today's experiment. It's the kind of family film you'd show your family if you didn't want to be part of your family anymore. Try not to gnaw off your own leg to escape Munchie.
This time we watch season 13, episode 4, Munchie.
Munchie, you can do magic things.
Sure, but first, hey, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody, from all of us to all of you.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, from all of us here at the Megaphonic Podcast Network, because once again, for all of you very good boys and girls and everybody else who have helped us out by contributing over at our Patreon, we have a very special present for you. We've got another episode of the greatest podcast ever recorded.
It's true. And this year I got to be there, which was pretty phenomenal because last year I missed out on the Wonton Ton Saves Hollywood action.
Yeah. So once again, several of your favorite Megaphonic hosts have gathered together, including me and Charlotte, to talk about a random old movie that is kind of a cult classic without a cult, in that it's not very good.
No, it's not.
And it's interesting, but also not interesting. It's not worth watching, but it might be worth hearing us talk about for a few hours.
Yeah, sometimes there are those things that exist. I listen to those podcasts all the time.
And so, yes, this time we are looking at the 1970 musical Song of Norway about the life, inaccurately, of composer Edvard Grieg. You know, the guy who did Hall of the Mountain King.
And the morning bit from, what is...
From Peer Gynt. These are both from Peer Gynt.
Yes. You know, poor guy. I'm sure he did stuff that was not from Peer Gynt, but when you think of him, those are the two that come up in my mind anyway. But I am also not a classical head in the way that some of the people who were part of the greatest podcast were. So, you know, if you're very into classical music, there is some excellent information in there from Mikey from This Is Your Mixtape.
Yeah. But also, for everyone, there's a very exciting present. Our friends over at Fiasco Family, who every year put out Hubris Ween, where they do one short podcast a day in the days leading up to Halloween, looking at an appropriate movie, are doing something similar now called Fiascomas, which is going to look at holiday movies in that really boring week between Christmas and New Year's.
I am so excited for this, Chris. I look forward to Hubris Ween all year long. And often the movies that they choose are ones that I would never actually watch, but I love hearing the Fiasco family talk about it. So I can't wait for them to talk about some holiday special movies. It's going to be great.
Listeners, please check them out. They're not doing anything MST3K related for the holidays this year, but they might next year. Who knows?
MST3K does overlap quite a bit with Hubris Ween, so it could happen for Christmas too.
Well, let us look at the least holiday movie that we've done for our holiday episode ever and take a peek at Munchie. This time we watch season 13, episode 4, Munchie. We have to talk about Gage. Gage is the new kid in his middle school. His mother, Kathy, is newly divorced. They've moved to a new house, and she's dating a creep named Elliot who wants to become his stepdad. Or really, he just wants to marry Kathy, but you know. Elliot is a department chair at the local university. Oh, and Gage's neighbor, the friendly Dr. Crookshank, is also a professor at the university, studying ancient peoples, which apparently encourages him to do experiments in his garage with explosives. That's fun. Gage daydreams a lot in class, and so he's not getting the best grades. But some of those daydreams involve Andrea, the girl he has a crush on. He's also got some bullies, yuppie in training Ashton and his muscle, Leon. Those two are going to make life terrible for Gage, and they're going to try to ensure that Gage stays away from Andrea. So 10 minutes into the movie, Gage's life is already at its lowest point, and he fantasizes about his own funeral. But then he finds a strange old box in an abandoned mine. Not like very far in, but whatever. Gage opens the box and out pops Munchie. Munchie, it turns out, is a creature that is thousands of years old, who can do magic things, and who has been the force behind every interesting thing that ever happened in history. And now he's working for Gage. And so soon, Munchie is causing destruction and devastation upon the land. He's ruining the school principal's reputation, he's altering Gage's report card, he's causing grave physical injury to one of the bullies, embarrassing the other bully, stealing the creepy guy's credit card, inviting the town over to a raucous party at Gage's house, and otherwise just being a menace. Gage, in fact, wants none of this and is horrified at Munchie's actions, but, Munchie gets results. But then, creepy guy Elliot happens to see Munchie and wants to take him to his lab to immediately dissect him. For science. Friendly neighbor Crookshank, who is also interested in studying Munchie but wants to do it in a more consensual way, Crookshank helps Munchie and Gage escape, but Elliot follows them, and so we get a long car chase. Eventually, Elliot crashes into a Winchell's Donuts, and the cops drag him to jail. Epilogue. Crookshank and Munchie are off to travel the world and learn more about Munchie's origins. Gage and Andrea might be an item now. And their parents might also be an item now. And hey, let's not think too much about that. Let's just say it's the end.
Meanwhile, on a satellite of love, while Jonah and the bots read through the rules for Lawyers of Catan, Kinga and Max study the rating numbers and marvel at just how right Dr. Cabal, the strange financier from the future, is about this gizmoplex. Time to deliver maximum sci-fi fluff. The invention exchange sees Kinga and Max give us something to generate electricity during the zombie apocalypse. It's a lot like the coconut bike on Gilligan's Island, only it's a treadmill with a zombie walking on it, and a Max or other expendable tempting the zombie so it keeps walking. We're making a lot of assumptions here about the executive function of zombies, but I like it. Jonah and the bots are also wanting to save the environment with Sustain-A-Band, a set of inventions aimed at rock bands who destroy their equipment. They show microphones that bungee back to the singer when thrown, guitars that reassemble, and drumsticks that are boomerangs. Jonah is dressed as a rock star with a fabulous head of hair and an open shirt, and he looks like a cross between Michael Hutchence of INXS and Prince, and it is so working for me. At our first movie break, Crow, Tom, and Jonah have just seen Munchie for the first time and exit the theater with a rousing discussion of what the heck was that god-awful thing? Crow even invokes the "game over, man, game over," which is one of my favorite acceptance of defeat lines ever. Jonah even refuses to return to the theater at movie sign. So, Kinga puts a kink in his air hose until Jonah changes his mind. After watching a little more Munchie, the bots and Jonah are becoming much more desensitized to the puppet. Jonah has even listened to the Dom DeLuise outtake tapes, which are not nearly as entertaining as one would like. Dom just recorded everything like it might be gold, even his car crash. Kinga is having Pearl and the Cynthias do some building on the moon and, even hiring boneheads to do that work. We break from the movie again to have Dr. St. Phibes arrive to meet some insurance requirement for Kinga, I guess. Mostly, though, she's here to tell us about the family tree of the Munchie, including such classic mischievous monsters as the gremlins, critters, hobgoblins, and more. Why, she even cloned a Munchie from blood found in a tick? Ew. As a result, Munchie is much cuter as a baby stuffy puppet instead of a melted rubber mess. When the movie ends, the bots begin to question the authenticity of this obvious documentary. Like, why would an eternal being dress like that? Or keep that hairstyle for thousands of years? Decent questions. Emily calls to say hey to Jonah and begins talking in rhyme. You know the Mads can't understand that. and a plan is made to check in after the next movie. What do you think, sirs?
Well, what's it like being back in Munchie Town?
Seriously, I kind of was hoping that this would be a stop the train would never take. I mean, we have seen Munchie before. You and I actually saw it together because it was part of MST3 Con years ago when we actually got to see some of the MST3K stars live.
We saw it on the big screen.
We did.
Do you think this episode or this movie gains anything from being on the big screen?
I felt perfectly comfortable just watching it on my phone. Although, I mean, if the point of the Munchie puppet was to be as disturbing as possible, the big screen does help with that. No question. What'd you think about it this time around?
This might be my favorite Jonah episode.
Really?
This or Cry Wilderness, I think, are the two contenders for it. I don't know. I don't even necessarily like making them fight, but I enjoy this episode a lot. I know that there are people who don't like the movie because they find the creature upsetting.
Yeah, totally.
Or they don't like the sort of cavalier early 90s treatment of bullying and other issues like that
also fair.
Happen in children's movies. I grew up on the movies that treated it lightly, so it doesn't bother me as much. But, that's fair. They're all fair. There's no wrong reason to dislike an episode or a movie, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. It's definitely the case that this puppet, not as cool as a gremlin, not even as cool as a hobgoblin, and that's saying something.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm not here for the puppet awesomeness. I'm here for a bad movie that's bad in interesting ways that goes down smooth.
It's true.
I think they deliver. I really appreciate how much throughout this, Jonah and the bots are laughing at each other's jokes. I was really hearing it this time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just nice because you never got that during seasons 11 and 12, really. And they're just laughing all the time here. And that's nice, too.
The riff is great. They do have some real awesome zingers inside of there. A lot of them about that mustache. Oh, my gosh. Who put a mustache on that main character? What a terrible choice. But it certainly lets us talk a lot about Ned Flanders. And it's great.
I mean, he's supposed to look awful. Like, you're not supposed to like that guy.
I don't think that mustache made any difference in how much I did not like him. I mean, the very first time he talks to the kid, he's like, I'm going to become your stepdad. And the kid's like, I think my mom has a say in that. And his response is like, whatever. She does not.
There are very few things that this film makes obvious that it isn't willing to also underline a few more times. There's also a moment in this movie where they make a joke that is an interesting species of joke. And I always feel really like it just, I don't know, maybe I have a particular sensitivity to this. So it's in the locker room bullying sequence.
Okay.
And our muscle bully, Leon, sort of approaches. He shows up and he's framed and he turns to Gage and the camera. And they make a joke of him saying, I'm looking for John Connor. Right?
I missed that.
Oh. One of the reasons why that caught my attention so much is because that's the same joke the movie is making. That is clearly meant to look like the Terminator shot where he turns and sees his prey.
Sure.
Because this movie is constantly quoting other movies, especially movies that kids would be familiar with, like E.T. being one of the most obvious ones when, during the car sequence, the car with Munchie in it flies up into the air and then is backlit by the moon. It's like the most obvious reference in there.
Yes.
In addition to all the Back to the Future, Dr. Crookshank is like Doc Brown from Back to the Future, which they make jokes about as well. Like that's clearly intentional.
Very much so.
To the fact that we even have like Gage, not wet, coming out of the shower wearing a towel that's meant to look like Home Alone in a sequence that has the cartoon violence of Home Alone, right?
It's so weird that they chose to do that.
Home Alone was like 2 years ago. They're trying to say we're like that too, kids. Have fun.
Oh, totally. I mean, I watched that sequence and I was like, oh, I don't really want this young of a kid to be wrapped up in a towel in a locker room on screen. Like, was this really the choice they needed to make? So I in no way connected it with Home Alone, but definitely the Back to the Future reference. easily made, right? He even calls the guy like Doc or something like that. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I didn't think of that connection until this time of watching it, and I didn't think of it because of that. I was thinking of it because of the cartoonish violence and thinking, oh, wow, this is a lot like, this is a lot like Home Alone. And then seeing him wearing that towel, I was like, oh, that's Kevin.
Yeah.
About to aftershave himself, right? That's what that is. That's why he looks like that right now. Oof. And also, he has a lot of these fantasy sequences. He has a lot of these dream sequences, just like cult Christmas movie that was suddenly becoming popular around this time, A Christmas Story, which is why this is a Christmas movie and we're allowed to do it for the holidays.
Is that the argument you're making to make this a holiday movie? I thought we were going to mention the fact that the riffers at least refer to his funeral scene as the last night of Hanukkah.
There's also that. It works in many levels.
It totally does. It's not just a Christian holiday. It is, in fact, so many.
This is, in fact, the most holiday movie that we've ever done.
There you go. Yes, I'm here for that argument, Chris. The most holiday movie we've ever done. I mean, and it doesn't even have Pia Zadora. How can it be the holidays, though, without Pia Zadora?
It has other people. We'll get to that in a bit.
It's very true. I'm interested that you consider The Terminator a movie that children would have seen.
Yeah.
Because it came out in 1984. So I would have been a child. And I absolutely saw The Terminator, and it messed up my nightmares for years. Not as much as Predator, but it absolutely did.
Yeah, I still haven't seen The Terminator, but everyone else my age had seen it, so I assume it was meant for children.
Totally. You weird thing. I'm so weirded out by the fact that you haven't seen The Terminator. It's actually really quite a good movie.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I've seen Terminator 2, and that's a good movie. And I'm told that Terminator is better. Yeah.
No. Terminator, I don't know if this is a hill I want to die on. I could absolutely go either way, but Terminator 2 is, I think, better than Terminator. It's a really great movie.
Sure.
More so than maybe the first one.
The level of interest I have in deciding that is so low.
Oh, Chris.
but I'm willing to accept that, but they are both good movies, and we don't need to make them fight.
Okay.
Not during the holidays.
So, Chris, some people say that Munchie is a sequel
to
Munchies.
Oh, yes.
This is a really weird premise, and I guess I just wanted to say a little bit about it.
Okay, I have not seen Munchies.
I also haven't seen Munchies, but Munchies is a Roger Corman movie, and one of the hallmarks, this actually came up in another podcast I was listening to, but one of the hallmarks of a Corman movie inside of the 80s is having some nudity, having some lovely ladies on set at times. And apparently the Munchies movie, which again, I haven't seen, but when you read the plot description, one of the things that the Munchies in the movie Munchies, which is from 87, one of the things they like is women and, harassing women and attacking people and eating junk food and stuff. Whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever. Munchies is just straight up a Gremlins ripoff.
It's pervy Gremlins or pervier Gremlins.
Yes. In our movie, Munchie, he's interested in junk food. He's interested in hijinks, but he's not necessarily interested in harassing people or looking out for, people smooching and other things at Lover's Lane and interrupting them in some sort of way, but which apparently is what they do inside of the Munchies movie.
Right. So
they definitely tone down the rated R type stuff that might have been in Munchies. I'm not sure that it was rated R, but that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it sounds like Munchie is a more explicitly kid-friendly film than Munchies.
Yes, very much so.
Because Home Alone had come out and that's suddenly really exciting to do.
Sure. I mean, I guess because, we talked about how I saw Terminator as a child. I saw Gremlins as a child, right?
Sure.
My sister had the worst nightmares forever because of Gremlins.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the sense of what a kid's movie might be changing a bit in this period because I'm suggesting because Home Alone did so well, though there's probably other films that helped that as well.
It's interesting because he wanted it to still be a monster movie.
And it is. He cast Dom DeLuise.
So they have one Munchie now, a single being that has existed throughout time. Because that's what makes Crookshank so excited, is that he can actually talk about ancient cultures with a being who was actually there.
So that's good.
Yeah, you get something different than you would have inside of a Gremlins ripoff. It's interesting that you think of this as a Home Alone version of Gremlins.
That's not quite what I said, but yes.
No. But you're kind of mashing those two up and saying, like, these are some inspirational texts for Munchie.
Yeah, I'm suggesting that maybe Corman is looking for a different kind of movie that might be a blockbuster, or at least make its money back these days.
He seems to have done a really good job of making his money back at all of his movies.
Yeah, it's sort of his shtick. Follow the trends.
And he works with a director inside of the Munchie movie that we watched, who he worked with a lot, Jim Wynorski, who also co-wrote Munchie.
Wynorski's getting those checks.
And he actually directed and co-wrote the sequel to Munchie, officially the sequel to Munchie.
Now, based on how Munchie ends, I'm assuming that Munchie Strikes Back, the sequel to Munchie that came out like 2 years later, is about Munchie and Crookshank going around the world to various historical sites and Munchie explaining all the fun adventures he had in the past at all these different places.
Oh, if only it was. That was like at the end of Munchie, and they were talking about, they're going to solve the mysteries of the ancient world. Or no, they're going to move to Cabo and open up a restaurant. No, none of those things happen in the next one. And I was imagining those movies thinking, this is a movie I want to watch, right? Like Munchie and Crookshank. They solve crime. You know how I'm into that premise. I just am.
You know how much Munchie is devoted to stopping crime.
And that's sort of the problem that they bring up, or that they start with the sequel, Munchie Strikes Back.
So you watched Munchie Strikes Back.
I did.
Good for you. We're all proud of you for taking it for the team.
Yep.
So what is its story if it can't do the obvious, cool one that would have required quite a budget?
Would it have required a budget? I mean, we've seen Alien from LA. We know you can make an ancient culture on a shoestring budget.
Please tell me that Kathy Ireland shows up in Munchie Strikes Back.
No, instead we get Leslie Ann Down, who plays a mom of a kid, just like we had Loni Anderson inside of the first Munchie movie. But the movie opens with Munchie still with Gage a couple of years later, like when he's in high school.
Oh.
Yeah. At Ronald Reagan High School, of course, right? Because it's the early 90s, so...
Sure. California.
Yes. Anyway, so like Munchie's still with Gage. He's throwing like this awesome party. There's a band playing, like everybody's having a good time, all like 25 extras or whatever. And then Munchie gets called to the astral plane for judgment suddenly in the middle of the party.
Okay.
And there's a judge. His name is Kronos.
Of course.
And he is like, Munchie, you're a bad guy. Like, you've caused all of these crazy disasters, like the sinking of Atlantis, like the Hindenburg, like Chernobyl. Anyway, he's like saying, you're a bad guy. We're going to send you away to a place that has no parties because you suck. And Munchie's like, come on, give me a chance. And okay, Chris, I want you to imagine if you were the panel judging Munchie, right? So there's a judge, but there's also like a tribunal panel. Who would you put on the tribunal panel to judge this eternal being Munchie?
All the people that we talked about last time when we talked with the dead. Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, maybe Mother Teresa. Was she dead at that point? I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but you got one of them, and that's amazing.
No, these movies are very formulaic.
Well, no, Abe Lincoln's the one that you got.
Okay.
Here are the other people on his tribunal panel. Colonel Sanders.
Okay, I'll give him that.
Cleopatra.
Uh-huh.
Elvis.
Yeah.
And Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And I didn't look up who was the actress who did the Marilyn impression, but she's great. Okay. It's one of the best Marilyn impressions I've ever seen. And that's saying something, right? Anyway, so they all argue that especially Marilyn and Elvis and Cleopatra. Let's just say that Abe Lincoln and Colonel Sanders don't really contribute very much to the tribunal.
Yeah, they're too busy making out.
If only. Colonel Sanders is like doing nothing but eating fried chicken. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm like 5 minutes into the movie right now.
Yeah, we might need to pick up the pace of the plot summary.
We will, definitely. But this tribunal was so hilarious. I just couldn't not say something, right?
Okay.
Anyway, they argue that, Munchie should be given a second chance. And, quote, Elvis says, because he didn't do anything half as bad as what we did when we were kids. And I'm like,
What?
Okay, so Elvis did something that was worse than Chernobyl? That's what he's arguing?
Hey, I need to flag this. Chernobyl happened just a few years before the first Munchie movie. He was not in that box for very long, I guess.
I guess not. Yeah, I don't know. Or they're just playing fast and loose with the timeline, Chris,
Where's the lore keeper on the Munchie series?
Seriously. I mean, there's one guy writing all of them. How hard can this be? Anyway, they argue that he should get a second chance. And the Kronos guy is like, oh yeah, we got a request. Like this kid and his mom need help.
Okay.
The mom's recently been widowed. The kids got some bullies. They're having a hard time. The mom, we meet her in a scene with Andrew Stevens, the same actor who plays the creepy guy who wants to marry Loni Anderson.
Is it the same role?
It's not the same person, but it is the same role.
Oh, sure. He's playing the same archetype.
Yes, exactly. He's playing like creepy sexual harasser, want to be in charge of everything, alpha male, but not. That guy.
I mean, the actor had a lot of range. It would be a shame not to use it.
I mean, it's similar to the role that he played in the Columbo episode. Anyway, the scene that we meet the mom in, she's been called to his office and he's like, oh, there's this work trip coming up at this new location and I want somebody from accounting to come with me. And the subtext of everything that he says, and it's not very this text is, I want you to come with me so I can have sex with you on this trip. Right? And she's like, yeah, I'll pass. And the next scene, she gets her pink slip.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Right. And she's like, and her friend is like, oh, is something wrong? And she's like, nothing I can prove. So sexual harassment was fun in the early 90s, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Munchie comes down to help this family. The kid's name is Chris. And when Munchie introduces himself, like Chris doesn't have to find him in a box or anything like that. He just shows up in his room and he's like, I'm magic. And Chris is like, prove it. Give me stuff. Munchie gives him a bunch of stuff. And then, Chris is like, I can't keep all this stuff in my room or my mom will find out. And so Munchie sends all the stuff back and convinces Chris that he just wanted the stuff to show people the stuff, not to actually help him become a better person, which is a really weird tact for Munchie to take. And then Chris goes to play baseball and Munchie helps him do really good at baseball. Crazy thing though, the guy who Andrew Stevens plays, he's the coach of the rival team at the baseball game.
Sure.
And he's all about winning. And he's like, it's not just enough to win. Every game should be a shutout. And of course, his kid's the pitcher. And, he tells the kid to like injure the star player on Chris's team. And it's like, he's just a bad guy.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty much what it comes down. And nobody likes him. Like the kids are like, gosh, Dad, that would be a terrible thing to do. And he's like, yeah, we're here to win. Winners don't pull punches. Chris ends up having to be, Munchie magicked in order to like win the game.
So this is a sports movie.
Yeah.
And it's a sports movie that has come out shortly after The Mighty Ducks.
Which is a hockey movie, right?
I know it's a hockey movie and there are other sports movies, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, trend chasers, and that's fine.
It's more like Angels in the Outfield, right? Because somebody's helping them play better. Anyway, like this movie is so weirdly paced that we have a lot of baseball happening before Munchie shows up. And by the time Munchie shows up, you're like, oh, thank God the pacing of the movie's going to change. Like I was actually looking forward to Munchie.
There you go. That they learned the mistake from the first movie.
Don't have him in every scene. You can't just have verbal vomit of Dom DeLuise the entire movie. You're going to change it to Howard Hessman and he's going to be way more reserved.
Oh, Yeah, I guess you need somebody else from WKRP. You need at least one WKRP alum in your movie.
Per movie, at least. Yes. Anyway, so Munchie helps Chris play good baseball. And then he, because the star player was going to take out the girl that Chris had a crush on. And the girl is his friend. So they go to a dance together. And Munchie helps him have a bunch of stuff to look rich. Like he gives him a tuxedo and a limo and stuff. And then like Chris is walking around the dance like, I was such a good baseball player. Everybody loves me. And the girl's like, you're being a jerk now and stop. And so, Munchie helps the kid to hear people's thoughts, and all of them are thinking about, God, he's such a jerk. It was a team effort. He just did one thing. He's so full of himself now. Maybe he's rich. I'll like him because he's rich. And Chris is like, I don't want to hear people's thoughts, and I'm just going to go back to being myself. And Munchie's like, awesome. So once again, Munchie's helping the kid learn to be his best self.
What do you mean once again? That isn't what happened in the first movie.
Well, I think he helped the kid become himself by showing him the opposite.
Munchie just took out everybody who was preventing the kid from being himself.
Well, but that was what the kid asked for, right?
I mean, it is what he asked for. Yes, that's true.
This kid's not asking for that, right? He's asking to be better at baseball. He's asking to hear people's thoughts, which, whoa, did that backfire. Just to wrap up the end of the movie, Chris comes back home and the mom finally confesses that she lost her job and there's a big payment due on the house and they could lose their home. And so Munchie makes it rain money.
Oh, yeah, that'll solve that problem.
So that he has the $20,000 that he needs to make the payment, which doesn't solve the problem because a guy from the government comes and is like, I got to check out this money. This is money that hasn't even been printed yet. These serial numbers don't exist. And he's like, this money came from, these bank robbers or whatever. So I'm going to have to confiscate the money. But the mom and the IRS government guy, totally vibing. The government guy tells him she should apply for a job at his department. So she gets a new job and they have to have a car chase. So Andrew Stevens' character breaks into the house and captures Munchie and starts driving away. And so the IRS guy, the mom, and Chris all get inside of the car and chase after Andrew Stevens and Munchie, and they save Munchie, and Andrew Stevens goes to jail. And, ta-da, everything is saved. And Munchie is exonerated by the council tribunal thing. And in a shocking plot twist, dead dad is the one who requested the help that Munchie was sent to do.
Oh, okay.
And in a shocking plot twist, he's then reassigned to his next person to help, and it's Bill Clinton.
Oh.
And that's the end of the movie.
Wow.
Except...
Oh?
At the end of the credits, there's a line, and the line at the end of the credits says... The Munch will return.
Of course.
In Munchie Hangs 10. So it even names the next movie. The movie that was never made.
There's still time. People love to revive a series many decades after it died.
And Jim Wynorski, still working in film, director and co-writer. It could happen.
Well, of course, it's the holidays, and so it's time for us to gather around faces that are most familiar, both with our families and loved ones, and also with the movies that we watch. So let's talk about some of the many familiar faces in Munchie.
Familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces.
Actually, I don't have a ton to say about a lot of them, even though they are very familiar faces, other than, hey, it's that person from that show that I know. Weren't they great in that? Now they're this.
That's fair. Honestly, it's nice to point out familiar faces that people might actually recognize. Is that terrible?
Well, they won't all be that. But, you will recognize Loni Anderson, who's playing the mom, Kathy. Mm-hmm. And who sadly passed away this year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. We might have even talked about it a little bit because I mentioned the Jane Mansfield documentary she was in.
Yes, that's right.
Which I enjoyed so much. It's still very fond in my memory.
I still haven't watched it, and I probably won't, but I'm glad it brings you joy to think about. Obviously, she's best known for playing Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, which was a favorite TV show in my family growing up. And every once in a while, I go back to rewatch the Thanksgiving episode, which is their most famous and beloved episode. And it, as I recall, it's been a few years now, but it does still hold up. It's pretty wild.
Excellent.
And I always forget that, like, Jennifer Marlowe and Loni Anderson's whole deal was that she was the smartest person in the room.
That's true. That's easily true inside of that show.
But, like, I remember everybody making the jokes about her being hot, basically.
Yeah,
and
because that's the jokes that boys make about hot girls.
Yeah, exactly. That's the jokes that we used to make in the good old days. And so those are the jokes that stuck with me. And the whole fact that, like, she wasn't actually that, somehow, as a young child, I missed those. Oh, well.
It's all right.
Despite the constant jokes in this episode, she was still married to Burt Reynolds when this movie was made. They got divorced in 1994 when the sequel came out.
Yeah, which she wasn't in.
Which she and he weren't in.
No, it's true. No Burt Reynolds in a Munchie movie, probably at all. Unless, of course, he comes back for Munchie.
I guess he might. Is he still alive? I can't remember. I don't think he is, but I can't remember now.
Isn't that terrible? I can't remember either.
No, he passed away in 2018.
We've missed our chance. We've missed our chance to have Burt Reynolds and Munchie in the same movie then.
I suppose so, though, AI can make anything possible, right? No. We also have in this movie a good friend of Burt Reynolds and a constant co-worker, Dom DeLuise, giving us the voice of Munchie.
Constant?
Well, constant in that it was rare for them to spend that much time apart.
And constant is a really good description of Dom DeLuise inside of this movie.
He's constantly talking, yes.
Constantly. Obviously trying to do, some sort of a Robin Williams in Aladdin sort of thing, but...
He's trying to do a Dom DeLuise thing. This is...
that's true.
I mean, maybe, but Dom DeLuise had been in a lot of Don Bluth films doing this and being terrible. I rewatched The Secret of NIMH recently, and he is doing this in that movie, which is totally wildly inappropriate for that movie.
It's true, but they also use him very sparingly in that movie, right? Like, his Crow character is not the main focus of the storyline.
No, absolutely not. But when he's on screen, oh boy, is he pulling focus away from everything else that's happening.
Yes, that is very true.
I grew up watching the Cannonball Run movies with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and a bunch of other people. I don't know if you did, but they were always on in the house that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And of course, he was in a bunch of Mel Brooks films, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Is there any Dom DeLuise movie or moment that you especially want to shine a light on?
No, there really isn't, actually. I mean, The Secret of NIMH is the one that I would have brought up because it is the one that comes to my mind very first and foremost for him. So, I don't know. Cannonball Run, like, I'm rewatching The Good Place right now, and Cannonball Run 2 plays a prominent role, but not actually watching it.
So is Cannonball Run 2 the better movie from Cannonball Run, the original? Because that's kind of how I remember it, but...
I don't even remember them distinctly. I remember them as one big run-on.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time actually answering that question without watching both of them. And Chris, that's just not a holiday that I want to celebrate right now.
I guess we don't need to make them race each other.
No. We do not.
We've also got Love Hewitt as Andrea. She hadn't found her Jennifer yet, I guess.
I suppose not. Or maybe she just didn't want to be like all of the other girls our age who were named Jennifer.
That's very true. There were so many Jennifers in my classes growing up.
Jennifers, yes. Yeah, it's why my mother never even considered the name for me, because it was a popular soap opera character or something. I don't even remember. But Jennifer Love Hewitt in her acting debut, maybe?
Her movie debut, but not her acting
Movie
debut. She
debut.
was in a few seasons of Kids Incorporated, a show that I did watch, but like
yeah.
many years before she was on it.
Yeah, agreed. I'm in the same boat. I forgot about that. Wow. When I think of Jennifer Love Hewitt, I think of the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, and I think of The Ghost Whisperer.
Not the Garfield movies?
I don't think of the Garfield movies. Isn't that terrible? But she's so good in I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I still know what you did last summer. And I'll always know what you did last summer.
Did you ever listen to her music?
I did not listen to her music. I listened to the song that's about her that John Mayer wrote, but that's not the same.
Yeah, no. She released her debut album Love Songs in 1992 under her then name Love Hewitt.
Oh, how old was she then? 1992? She must have been...
That's the same year Munchie came out, so you know exactly how old she was.
Wow.
And then she put out some more albums later on, and I guess some of them did okay. One of them's in the soundtrack for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and did all right on the charts, I guess, called How Do I Deal?
Sure. Patrick Swayze got to do songs on Dirty Dancing, too. It's sort of the privilege of being the star.
Exactly.
Anyway, I like Jennifer Love Hewitt's work. I enjoy her as an actress. I enjoy her horror movie turn. It's great. Yeah. The Ghost Whisperer used to be on right after Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was a really good pairing.
Just like Loni Anderson, she also would star in a TV film based upon an actress, this time the Audrey Hepburn story.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I haven't ever seen it, but I remember seeing pictures of her as Audrey Hepburn and thinking, that's not a terrible casting. I wonder if she did a good job.
I wonder. We'll never know. There's no way to find out.
There's no way to find out.
We also have Arte Johnson as Professor Crookshank.
Yeah, from Laugh-In, is that right?
He was from Laugh-In. He played the little German soldier who didn't know the war had ended, who liked to say, very interesting.
So, you know, having him stand next to like a World War II Jeep inside of this movie is a little on the nose.
I suppose so. He also was known on Laugh-In for playing the dirty old man. You know,
oh my gosh, yes.
Coat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He would then go on and do a ton of voiceover work for kids' shows. He does have that affect, right? Like he is the Dom DeLuise you hire if you don't want him to say inappropriate nonsense. He's pretty toned down, it seems, in a lot of these roles, as he is in this movie. And the other thing that I found out when I was just looking up a little bit about him, reading his Wikipedia page, I suppose, it didn't seem worth doing a deep dive, is that he's done a lot of audiobooks, like of normal audiobooks, like 80 of them.
Wow.
Wild. I have no idea. I assume he's good at it because he keeps getting invited back. And it does feel like he has a bit of control over his reading voice, so to speak. Maybe he's fine. I don't know.
Huh? Has he won any awards?
I mean, he won an Emmy for Laugh-In, but did he win an award for his
audiobook work?
Audiobooks? I don't think.
I can't imagine there's so many awards for audiobooks, but I'm sure like earning them it's quite prestigious.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine there's more now than there used to be because they're more popular now even than before.
That's true.
Let's see. Who else have we got here? We've got Andrew Stevens as Elliot, the creepy stepfather wannabe.
Yep. Very much the wannabe. And we're very familiar with Andrew Stevens' work through our love of, you guessed it, Donald Pleasance. That's
right. So did you recognize him or did you just remember this coming up before?
I recognized him because when we talked about for a Donald Pleasance Day of the past, I watched that show, The Bastard. He's the main character in The Bastard. And we watched it for Donald Pleasance and saw this guy. But at the time you told me, and we're going to see Andrew Stevens again when we watch the movie Munchie. And so as I was watching Munchie, I was like, oh my gosh, there he is.
Is he just as you remember him?
The mustache it gives a really significant creep factor, but other than that, sure.
And Andrew Stevens has gone on to write and direct a bunch of movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him. And I guess we're going to start moving to the less familiar faces. And we might as well start with the person who actually directed this film, Jim Wynorski, who we've mentioned a bit already.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a bunch of films, including, perhaps most notably for MST3K's purposes, he was the director of Deathstalker 2, which MST3K did in one of their live tours. He did not direct Deathstalker Part 3, Deathstalker and the Warriors from Hell, which was done in season 7.
And he is also a guy who really likes to do a porno.
Yes, many of the smaller roles in this movie are actors from his stable, as you might imagine.
Yes.
And for some of them, including I believe it's the woman who freaks out in the pizza shop, this is her largest role in a movie where she doesn't get naked.
Wow.
Is apparently the situation. But yes, Jim Wynorski, known for things like Chopping Mall, which I feel like we've discussed before.
Quite possibly, yes. I just about freaked out for a few of his porn titles, which one of them was one that when you read it, you sent it to me as well. The Witches of Breastwick.
It's an amazing pun.
You look through his list and it's he also did The Devil Wears Nada. The Breastford Wives. House on Hooter Hill. I'm going to die. That's a great name.
His parody of Cloverfield was named Cleavage Field. I assume it's a parody of Cloverfield.
I assume so as well. What about The Hills Have Thighs? Come on. This guy's great. I don't know if he's naming these films, but he should absolutely get credit for that one. It's phenomenal.
Invasion of the Hottie Snatchers. Yeah, no, I don't really want to watch any of those movies, but I definitely enjoy reading all their titles.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There's also a little Easter egg, I guess. There is a guy at the party who's wearing a white blazer and a seafoam blue-green shirt underneath it, who sits at a piano at one point, and then Munchie comes and steals his drink and chugs it down and burps.
Okay. Who is this guy?
Yeah, you won't remember it. It's completely unmemorable. I just spent, 20 minutes scrubbing the movie trying to find him.
Fair enough. I mean, I remember that outfit because he looked so Miami Vice,
Kind of. Yeah, he's wearing sunglasses and everything.
Yeah.
That guy is Fred Olen Ray.
Who I would know from?
Well, you might not know him, although I think he's come up before. He is a director who has made a lot of low prestige and barely mid-prestige films. He's been at it for a very long time. I think he is a big fan of Ed Wood and sort of sees himself in that world. And so naturally, what he's been making lately, after having spent much of the 80s and 90s and 2000s making films like Witch Academy and Billy Frankenstein and, I don't know, Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, which he co-directed with Jim Wynorski.
Fantastic. These guys sound like besties.
Yeah. So now, in addition to making those kinds of movies, he also, I think, pays for that by making Christmas movies for TV.
Oh, like my Hallmark movies?
Yes, although I don't know if they're for Hallmark, but maybe some of them are. I think his most famous one is called A Prince for Christmas.
Oh, I think I've seen it. Wait, I got to look it up and make sure.
Yeah, because it feels like there are about 9 of those movies
Prince
now.
for Christmas. Absolutely, I have seen this one.
There you go. There you go.
And just to give a quick recap for people, a prince decides that he's going to go on a tour of the U.S. a little bit in order to get away from his family. And he gets stranded in a small town where he meets the person who runs the local diner who has recently lost her parents, and they fall in love.
Is it a good Christmas movie of this genre?
It's a perfectly fine Christmas movie of this genre. Perfectly fine.
If I just sort of go to one part of his recent filmography here on IMDb, we've got, in sort of reverse chronological order, A Christmas Princess, Baking Christmas, One Fine Christmas, A Christmas in Royal Fashion, A Wedding for Christmas, Deadly Shores, Fiancé Killer, Witness Unprotected, Framed by My Fiancé, Deadly Vows, Stage Fright the Twin, A Christmas in Vermont, etc. So this is the most Christmassy movie ever, I think, that we've done on the show.
Oh, very nice. I have another reason why this is a really good Christmas movie, but I want to save that for the final factoid.
Okay. Well, I've got just a few more people to shout out.
Okay.
Angus Scrim plays the Undertaker when he imagines he's dead, and it's the guy who's holding the casket open, right?
He gives really expressive face the entire time he's on screen.
Yes, he does. Angus Scrim, who you saw in Munchie 2 as Cronus.
Yes. Does not give as expressive face there.
That's a shame. He was in a bunch of horror films, including playing the tall man in the Phantasm films, which I'm told is a thing. I've never heard of them before, but I'm not a horror guy. So what are you going to do?
I haven't seen them, so.
He also was in an Italian horror film that was called Fatal Frames from 1996 with, you guessed it, Donald Pleasence.
Oh, it's the most wonderful time of the year, Chris.
And he won a Grammy.
For?
Can you guess?
A spoken word album? I don't know.
Close. He won it for writing the liner notes to the 1974 album Korngold, the classic Erich Wolfgang Korngold, a classical music album.
I didn't know that there was a Grammy for good liner notes.
I mean, there are all sorts of Grammys that they don't show on the TV show, just like there's all sorts of Oscars they don't show on the TV show.
I guess I've just never had that pointed out to me as something that somebody won, but good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him. I'm sure it was very well researched.
And there's one other name I thought would be worth pointing out just real quick. The special effects were done by a guy named, I don't know how he pronounces it, but let's say Kevin Kutchaver.
Okay.
He also did the special effects for a movie called Mystery Science Theater 3000: the movie.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one.
Yes. And Dr. Mordred and a bunch of other films, like a lot of films, many of which are highly regarded. He's got quite a career behind him, I suppose.
Excellent.
But it is funny that they are riffing a movie that somebody who worked on the movie that they made was part of. It's going to happen. Like, it's a small world, I suppose. But I just saw that and thought it was fun. Well, this has been lovely and surprisingly on-topic discussion of Munchie, or rather, we haven't gone too far in the weeds about the riffs or anything else, I suppose. But maybe we can have a glass of spiked eggnog and loosen ourselves up with a little final factoid about something a little less relevant, Charlotte.
Oh, no, I'm going to stay relevant, Chris. It's part of our, familiar faces. Encore. It's about Jim Wynorski. And I bring it up because he was so impressed with working with Jennifer Love Hewitt that he actually wrote a movie for her.
Oh.
He wrote a movie for her called Little Miss Millions, and she agreed to do it. And it also stars Howard Hessman.
Okay.
And it comes out in 1993, so it's in between the two Munchie movies. Maybe it's how Howard Hessman got, pulled in to do the voice for Munchie for the second movie. But it's a movie about a girl who is a millionaire, and the money is such a burden for her. She hates being rich, and she's just being exploited by an evil stepmother, and she runs away in order to try to find her real mother. And Howard Hessman is the guy who is hired by the evil stepmom to find her and bring her back.
Oh.
But the reason I bring it up, and the reason why it's relevant to our holiday episode, is because it also goes by an alternate title. And that title is
Little Miss Munchie.
Home for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a little Christmas flair for you for our ending the episode.
Surprise, Charlotte, I got you another final factoid as a holiday treat.
It's just what I wanted.
Well, I couldn't help it because I was watching this movie, which, was made when we were a little bit older than the kids in this film. But nevertheless, I couldn't help but see a little glimmer of you in one of the characters.
Oh.
Specifically, the young girl at the talent show who's playing the accordion.
The one that they mention in the riffs and they call her Judy Tenuta?
Young Judy Tenuta or something, yes.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
For those of you listening who don't know, in the band that Charlotte and I are in, I suppose, but we're certainly more actively in 20-ish years ago, Charlotte was made to play the accordion.
Yes, I'm an excellent trained monkey, everyone. You can show me what to play, and I can play it, but I don't actually have accordion skills. I just want that to be on the record.
But, were you excited to see good accordion representation in the film?
It happens so rarely, Chris. I was a little excited. So, yes.
And of course, I was also excited to be reminded of Judy Tenuta, whose work I always enjoyed back in the day.
Yeah, I did as well. She was a super fun comedian who used an accordion to amplify or not to emphasize the thing she was saying.
She used it as punctuation sometimes. It's
yes.
True. I guess I never got you to use the accordion that way of just teaching you how to whack it to punctuate a joke.
Sure. But of course, our time in the band is not over yet, Chris. There's still time.
If you've been affected by the issues on this show, if you've got an argument why you are technically a holiday movie, or if you'd like to ask us anything, get in touch with us. Our email is info@itsjustashow.com, and we're on Blue Sky, and we'd always love to hear from you. This show is made possible by the generous giving of listeners like you, and like our randomly selected supporter, Lars. Thank you, Lars. For about $1 an episode, you too can be like Lars. You can help us research and record this show. You can join us on a friendly Discord, and you can listen to all our super fan bonus bits and holiday specials. Find out more at itsjustashow.com/Patreon or patreon.com/itsjustashow. And if you want to follow up on anything that was mentioned today, you'll find links in our show notes at itsjustashow.com/episode/187.
Well, Chris, for the holidays, you get to give me one jump scare puppet, but no more than that. So I hope our next movie doesn't have a Munchie-like reveal.
Well, no promises, because we will be entering into Gamuary.
Never mind. That's another holiday season that we could totally have jump scares for.
Indeed. And while we have done all of the Gamera films and all of the Godzilla films, there are still a few giant monsters to look at. And so we will be looking at Season 9, Episode 9, Gorgo.
Back to the sci-fi era, which means that I know I haven't seen it. Is this one you've seen?
No, this is one that I never saw back in the day, and I've been holding off so I can see it fresh when we finally cover it. So this will be new for both of us, and this is the one with a very special guest. Because you know who's visiting the show?
I can't even guess. No, who?
You're right, it's Leonard Maltin.
No, I don't believe it. How can a holiday be so amazing as to celebrate the wonderful Gamera and Leonard Maltin shows up?
Well, we'll find out next time, but until then...
What you gonna do with all that munch inside your trunk?
Well, at least he died doing what he loved, wishing he was dead. Take it away, Theme Squad.
The only other thing I was going to add is that I love the idea of Munchie Hangs 10 being Munchie and Bill Clinton in a surfer movie. I want that movie to be written.